Hey, this is Eye on Baltimore, and I'm John Carrington, and as always, we have a wonderful array of guests who will talk to us about things that'll keep an eye on Baltimore. I have here with me Mr. Marlo A. Humphreys Sr., and he is the Executive Director of FACE, Freedom Advocates Celebrating Ex-Offenders. And that's a very interesting title, Celebrating Ex-Offenders. How did you get involved with that program?
Well, I got involved, but first and foremost, it's Marlo. Hargrove, Senior.
Okay.
But it's quite okay. How I got involved, basically, I am those that today I've been blessed and fortunate to help being returning citizens. My story starts off as being the only child, coming from alcoholic parents who passed away. My mom was 34, my father was 36, from cirrhosis of the liver. So as a result of that, my life turned for the worse and been in a disaster, chaos, and confused state. And it took me from being in prison. And sometimes you don't have to go to prison or be locked up behind the four walls. I was locked up in my mind by my thoughts and deeds and actions. So at the period of time of going through this lifestyle of addiction, eventually the doors slammed and got to a point after 20 years of abuse and the whole 9 yards of physical self, I decided it was time to do something different. And in doing something different, then that's when FACE came into fruition, Freedom Advocates Celebrating Ex-Offenders, back in 2000. Today is 2020, and we're still doing a tremendous work in the community.
Amen, amen. And of course, you need funding and help. But people don't know about the program. How can they contact you for information?
Well, we have our website, and I encourage people to come and take a look and view it for themselves. It's www.facebaltimore.org, and our contact number is 410-522-3223.
Please repeat that number.
It's 410-522-3223.
All right, well, tell us about some of the services that you offer ex-offenders.
One of the services that we provide is for the youth, which is our REACH program. And that REACH program basically is the R, which is redirect, the E, which is encourage and educate, the A, which is achieve, C is change, and the H is hope. That is for the youth, where we do the mentoring, the psychosocial, we do basic needs of care when they come out of incarceration, whether it be on the streets, go to them, mentor them, do a one-on-one engagement to not only to help build them up, but also to be that not my brother's keeper, we are my brothers. So that's some of the things we do, along with case management, mental health, and providing housing, again, for those who are coming home from incarceration.
All right, so we can encourage our relatives who have been involved with the justice system to go to your program for the help that they need.
Absolutely. We'd be more than willing to help do what we can within reason to help them, because we know help needs help too. Mm-hmm. And then they have to be willing, have the willingness to want to help themselves. And we'll do the necessary things we can in our end to make sure that their help do come into fruition.
All right, give us a success story, somebody who came out of prison, got involved with your program, and went on to better things.
I had an individual who's still there today. His name is Mr. Earl Nelson. He was incarcerated for 47 years. And in that 47 years, I'm talking about consistent, not come out, go back, come out. 47 years have consisted of being incarcerated. He's been home now for the last 3 years. He's now a productive member of society. He has now gotten a job with us. He actually is the spokesperson for FACE. He has an apartment within our location, which is at 1645 North Calhoun Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21217. And he is the spokesperson and doing a tremendous work. And now he's giving back to the community that once has tore him down 47 years ago.
All right, so he's available to go out to churches and community groups and speak.
Absolutely.
Again, how can we contact you?
Please feel free to contact us at 410-522-3223 is our contact number. And we encourage you to visit our website page, which is www.facebaltimore, all one word, www.facebaltimore.org.
What can our viewers do to help you?
Well, we stand in need of several things: funding, items to provide like toiletry items, food, clothes, and shelter for those who are coming back into society. Monetary donations is linked to our PayPal page on our website, and we just encourage people to give. And no give is too much or too little. We are receptive and willing and appreciative. However, you all can help us to keep this not just for the moment, but to keep this movement going to help better our society.
What can we do to encourage our politicians to get on board with helping?
Well, action speaks louder than words. You know, back in 2019, which was last year, actually in 2007, you know, the voters' right was passed for people that have felonies. Over 40,000 people with felonies was able to vote. That's 40,000 votes that they were able to get for those who were able to vote and put them in a position, why? To help. You know, so it's a situation where we want to hold each other accountable, not just putting them in position and to be there, but holding them accountable and doing what it is necessary that we have to do on our end to make sure that it moves together in cohesiveness so that each and every one, a part of this equation, can move forward in a positive direction.
And I'm sure the politicians are beating your doors down offering you funding.
Well, I wouldn't say they're beating the doors down giving the funding. Well, we have met with a few, but again, it's accountability, and we want to put our action behind our words.
All right, what advice do you have for the prison system?
Stay focused. Stay focused. Again, we are not bad people. We may have done bad things, but however, people do change. I am living proof. I am one of those ones who have changed and made a difference for the better, and I feel compelled to go back and help others to possibly do the same thing too.
All right, and of course we raise children on this earth, and in Baltimore City we are raising children. What advice do you have for parents who are raising children?
Well, we have to lead by example because all behavior is learned behavior. So if they see us not doing what it is we're supposed to be doing, but we're trying to tell them what to do, they're looking at us, well, how can you tell me what not to do, but yet you got to hold me accountable to do it too. So what I'm learning also is, in the midst of all of that, I don't want to just be and lead by example, but I want to also follow so that they can be leaders too.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with more of Eye on Baltimore and my special guest here. Hey, and welcome back. This is Eye on Baltimore. I'm John Carrington, and this is Mr. Marlo A. Hargrove Sr., and he's the Executive Director of FACE, Freedom Advocates Celebrating Ex-Offenders. Earl Nelson, I remember meeting him.
Yes.
What is that gentleman doing nowadays?
Well, he's actually working.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually working, being a productive member of society, giving back and helping other people who have came through the penal system to show them a better and productive way of life.
47 years behind bars.
Long time.
And you took him straight in, and he hasn't turned around to go back.
Well, it was only by the grace of God that allowed our paths to connect. And once he came out after 47 years, I simply asked him, because I feel what better person to actually help somebody who have gone through it, because I'm supposed to make the program sound good, but have someone living proof who's doing good feels more to me.
All right, talk more about your background. You were born and raised where?
Here in Baltimore, Maryland, in the inner city, which we called Lexington Terrace at the time, back in the project days. And what I found out through my addiction, and the reason why I say that, I've been stabbed, pistol whipped, robbed, left for dead. Mother passed away at the age of 34, father at the age of 36. You know, I'm one of them ones that they say who wasn't going to make it. You know, so I only believe in my belly that it's only by the grace of God that I'm still here, because if the devil had his way, I would have died a long time ago. But I also believe that what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it around for my good.
Did you ever cross paths with Charles Dutton?
I haven't. I've heard of The Wire and The Corner, but actually to meet him face to face, no, I haven't.
Okay, and I noticed that beautiful sweatshirt you're wearing there. FACE. Talk about that for a moment.
Well, FACE, actually the F is for freedom, and the A is the advocate, to speak on the behalf of. The C, to celebrate. Celebrate the fact that we no longer, X meaning no longer, and with offenders, simply to have done wrong. So one way, form, or another, we are all X something. Doesn't mean we have to go to prison to be locked up, but we also can be locked up in our mind by our thoughts, deeds, and actions.
All right, and I guess that shirt is available for sale?
Well, yes it is. However, it's not a fact of just selling it to anyone, but we want them to feel compelled. If you're wearing it, you got to represent.
I hear you. So again, how can folks contact you?
Well, they can contact us, and we encourage you all to do so at our website, which is www.face, F-A-C-E, Baltimore, all one word, www.facebaltimore.org, and our contact number is 410-522-FACE, which is 410-522-3223.
All right, well, I'm curious. In the prison system, there are folks who say they didn't do things, false arrest, false prison time. What's your reaction to those individuals who come out with that, I was not guilty of what I was locked up for?
I believe, honestly speaking for myself, that prison was the best thing that ever happened to me. And it may sound kind of ludicrous, but however, prison saved my life, because I was living a life of self-destruction on the streets. So when I went to prison, that's when my life began to change for the better. Now, I'm not saying that everybody been to prison is guilty. However, we played a part in some kind of way. The process doesn't stop while we're in prison. While we come out of prison, it starts while we're in prison, because prison can rehabilitate people to come out and do some positive things and give back to society once they come out. So it could be however we internalize it, but I believe some people went to prison, they come out, and I know some who's now doing much better, one being Mr. Earl Nelson, who had went in, and I'm not disclosing his matter, but however, he went in, now he's out, doing much better and giving back to society.
Where do you want the FACE program to be in 10 years?
Worldwide, globally, not just in Baltimore. We want to be in D.C., want to be in Philly, want to be in Chicago, want to be in Atlanta, want to be in Los Angeles. Not just be there, but be in a magnitude to make a greatness in all society.
Give us the location. Where are you located in the city?
That's a good question. We're in which is called the belly of the beast. We're at the Freddie Gray area, where it is at the Penn North and Sandtown, West Baltimore location, Pennsylvania Avenue. We right there where people shy away from, and we embrace the belly of the beast because we don't see it as a negative. We see it as a positive light in the harvest field where it's greatly needed. We're at the old Frederick Douglass High School building right there, the historical building which houses 94 units and has a resource center and lab for computers and jobs and all these things that we're doing, which is at the 1645 North Calhoun Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21217 zip code.
All right. And of course, yeah. The reason I brought up Charles Dutton is because he has on his resume some prison time.
Absolutely.
And he was raised in that Sandtown, Winchester, Lexington Terrace area. And of course, Mr. Dutton has changed his life around after coming out of prison.
Absolutely. Yes, and that's so good that you said that because that's rehabilitating.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that went in for whatever reason he went in, now when he came out, changed his life around. Not only did he change his life around, he also used his life as a living example to help change the lives of others.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there are other celebrities who do naturally want to give back to people who have been incarcerated. Kim Kardashian, and of course, she has made an effort to get people out of jail who've been improperly imprisoned. And maybe you can make an appeal to some of those celebrities who have the funding to support faith.
Absolutely. I would be more than delighted to do so. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting one of the celebrities, Carmen, the rapper.
Yeah.
And he came to Baltimore along with Miss Marilyn Mosby, state's attorney, who's doing a phenomenal job in getting people out and exonerated. So those folks, as well as Jay-Z, who's also behind imprisonment, and getting folks out and helping them to get on the right track. So I would definitely, by all means, encourage those who believe in faith, who want to support faith. We are here, we're doing a phenomenal work. Again, we encourage people to go to our website, contact us, and just to see.
Give us the contact information.
The contact number again is 410-522-FACE, F-A-C-E, which is 410-522-3223. Our website is www.facebaltimore.org. Yes, in meeting Miss State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, who's doing a phenomenal work here in the Baltimore regional area, getting folks out, and we're that bridge to help keep them out. There's a difference between getting out but staying out, and that's what we fall in the category to be able to help those, because what better person is to help those who have gone through it ourselves.
And that's what Baltimore City needs, more of our people who leave the prison to be a positive influence on the community rather than go back and do the same things that they've done before.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Mr. Hargrove, is there anything you'd like to add at this point?
Yes, I would like to make this known that within Baltimore there are numerous men prison release units coming home for men, for guys, but there's none for women, not near one. For women here in the Maryland regional area. So we're strongly working with some folks here in Baltimore to make that possible. Again, we talked about the celebrities that are helping to do this, but there are local people who have their feet on the ground in the trenches, working along with FACE to see the first women's pre-release unit happen here in the state of Maryland.
All right, well, thank you ever so much, Mr. Marlo A. Hargrove, Sr., Executive Director of FACE. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with more of Eye on Baltimore.
USS Constellation. There's a grand lady in Baltimore who has taken her rightful place as the Inner Harbor's crown jewel in the heart of the Chesapeake Bay. Launched in 1854 as the last all-sail ship designed and built for the United States Navy, Constellation's century of service embraced the ages of sail, steam, gas, diesel, and nuclear power. Imagine that, launched in 1854 and still afloat. Even more exciting, visitors can come aboard Constellation and explore to their heart's content. On board Constellation, history comes alive as visitors touch, feel, and experience what life was like for sailors during the Civil War. Just bring your imagination. Constellation is the second of 3 U.S. Navy vessels to carry the same venerable name. The first, the frigate Constellation, was built right here in Baltimore at Harris Creek and launched in 1797. Known as the Yankee Racehorse, the frigate Constellation was one of the first 6 ships built by the United States Navy. The ship you see here, the sloop of war Constellation, was built at the Gosport Navy Yard in Portsmouth, Virginia, and launched in 1854. A newspaper account from the day of her launch reported that there were 8 pieces of the original frigate Constellation contained within her timbers. The third Constellation was the aircraft carrier CV-64. Launched in 1960, she served until 2003. President Ronald Reagan called her America's flagship. But it's the sloop of war Constellation that's here in Baltimore today, and the Chesapeake Bay has always been central to her story.
Throughout her century of service, Constellation served in and out of the Chesapeake Bay. It was kind of like coming home every time she returned to the Chesapeake Bay. She was created here at Gosport Navy Yard. And throughout her career, she came to Annapolis. She spent many years there. She sailed to Philadelphia. She sailed up and down the bay several times. And every time that she returned, it was like a homecoming for her.
Oh, hey, welcome back. By the way, Mr. Marlo, do you have any last thoughts?
I do. I would like to just get this small piece to say that if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? Action speaks so louder than words, and together we can do more than doing it individually.
Wow. I want to thank you for being a part of Eye on Baltimore, and everybody, hey, stay tuned in and look for Eye on Baltimore. I'm John Carrington, and have a nice day.
Hammocks in our overnight program or host special events. Our crew knows the USS Constellation is an amazing experience, but don't just take our word for it. Here's what recent visitors had to say.
It's very kid-friendly, very family-oriented, and the kids will love it, and they'll come out asking questions, which I love.
It transports you back. You can almost get the feel that you were actually there, because laying in that hammock, like, oh my goodness.
I think it's really interesting because it shows you exactly how they slept and how they ate and how they went through life.
But it was excellent tour, and I think it's something they need to maintain for generations to come.
Should be kind of a must for people who are in the area and have an hour or two to spend.
It's just amazing to see what people lived in, how hard they worked in order to accomplish what they did.
It brings your learning alive, and that it helps you to understand. Like, rather than looking at pictures, you can actually see what they were in, and you can actually understand it.
I think it makes me appreciate being an American, knowing these people went through these things to put me where I am now.
I'd say come see it.
We were a little bit leery because of the age of our children, 4 and 7. But they enjoyed it so much. It really kind of surprised us. We thought it'd be more for us, the parents, but no, they loved it.
They had a good time.
Yeah, they had a great time.
So come aboard USS Constellation. And while you're here in Baltimore, be sure to visit these other attractions of the Chesapeake Bay Gateways Network. The Baltimore Visitor Center, a good place to start your tour of this historic city and region. The National Aquarium on Pier 3 near the USS Constellation Museum. The Lightship Chesapeake, and 7 Foot Knoll Lighthouse, both part of the Baltimore Maritime Museum. the Frederick Douglass Isaac Myers Maritime Park and Museum, headquarters of the Living Classrooms Foundation, Fells Point, an early American shipbuilding center, and the Fells Point Maritime Museum. And of course, Fort McHenry National Monument, where the people of Baltimore valiantly defended the city from the British during the War of 1812, and Baltimore's own Francis Scott Key wrote our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. So welcome aboard USS Constellation and enjoy your visit to the historic sites of the Chesapeake Bay Gateways Network.